Hello everyone.
7 huge mistakes men make that chase women away. Female psychology. Some of the biggest mistakes men make when dealing with women rarely appear to be mistakes at first glance. In fact, many of these behaviors actually feel like the correct or even admirable things to do. Expressing strong emotions early, paying close attention to her life, being open about your past, or trying to impress her with enthusiasm and effort all seem positive on the surface. However, in many cases, the very actions men believe will strengthen attraction can unintentionally weaken it. It often begins with promise. A man meets a woman, the conversation flows well, and the connection seems to be building naturally. Yet over time, something subtle begins to shift. Her interest slowly fades, her energy changes. Eventually, she begins to distance herself, often without offering a clear explanation. What many men fail to recognize is that attraction can fade because of small signals they send without realizing it. These signals may not seem significant in the moment, but they gradually change how a woman perceives them. Today, we will explore 7 common mistakes men make that can quietly drive women away even when they believe they are doing everything right. 1. Rushing into a relationship. One of the most common mistakes men make is moving too quickly emotionally. A man meets a woman and, within just a few days, begins acting as though the relationship has already been established. He tells her how special she is, hints about a shared future, and sometimes even says, "I love you," before a genuine connection has had time to develop. The problem is that emotions expressed too quickly often stop feeling authentic. Imagine being a woman who has known a man for only a short time. You barely understand his values, his personality, or how he handles challenges in life. Yet he is already expressing feelings that normally take months or even years to grow. Instead of feeling flattered, many women feel confused. A question begins to form in her mind. How can he feel something so strong for someone he barely knows? Soon another thought follows. Has he said the same thing to other women before? Attraction often grows through discovery, curiosity, and emotional pacing. When someone tries to accelerate that process too quickly, the sense of mystery disappears. What many men believe is romantic enthusiasm may actually come across as emotional impatience. And emotional impatience can signal something deeper, that the man may not be choosing carefully, but simply attaching himself to whoever gives him attention. Healthy attraction grows gradually. It develops through patience, observation, and genuine understanding. Men who allow relationships to unfold naturally rarely need to chase affection. It develops on its own. 2. Becoming overly possessive. Possessiveness rarely appears obvious at the beginning. It often disguises itself as concern. A man may frequently ask where she is, who she is with, or why she took 2 hours to reply to a message. In small amounts, this attention may even seem flattering. But the boundary between attention and control is very thin. Once that boundary is crossed, attraction begins to suffocate. Many men forget an important truth. Before meeting them, the woman already had a full life. She had friends, routines, hobbies, and personal freedom. When a man suddenly tries to insert himself into every part of that life, it doesn't feel like love, it feels like surveillance. Psychologists describe a concept called psychological reactance, which explains how people naturally resist when they feel their freedom is being restricted. The more someone feels controlled, the stronger their desire to reclaim independence. In relationships, this reaction often appears quickly. Instead of feeling like she is choosing to be with someone, the woman begins to feel managed or monitored. True confidence allows space. It trusts that if someone wants to stay, they will stay voluntarily. Ironically, the men who try hardest to hold on often end up pushing people away the fastest. Attraction cannot breathe inside a cage. 3. Talking too much about an ex. Another subtle attraction killer is constantly bringing past relationships into present conversations. It is perfectly normal for someone to ask about your relationship history. Everyone has a past. The issue begins when that past refuses to remain in the past. Some men frequently mention their former partners. My ex loved this restaurant. My ex never understood me. My ex always did things differently. Each time such comparisons appear, the woman listening may feel like she is stepping into someone else's role rather than building something new. No one wants to feel like a replacement. On the other hand, some men speak about their ex with bitterness or resentment. They tell long stories about betrayal or unfair treatment. While they may believe they are simply sharing their experience, the woman listening is silently asking herself a question. If this relationship ends, will he talk about me the same way? The way a man speaks about people who are no longer present reveals his emotional maturity. It shows whether he has truly moved forward or is still carrying unresolved resentment. Healthy attraction requires emotional space for a new story to develop without being overshadowed by the past. For being stingy or self-centered. When people hear the word stingy, they often think only about money. But in relationships, stinginess can appear in many forms. It can be reflected in how someone gives their time, attention, effort, or emotional energy. Some men approach dating like a transaction. They mentally keep score who paid last, who texted first, who invested more effort. While they may believe they are protecting themselves, what the woman often feels is scarcity. Generosity, on the other hand, signals confidence. It communicates that a person feels secure enough to give without constantly calculating what they will receive in return. Women are rarely searching for extravagant spending or grand gestures. What they often look for is a mindset of abundance rather than fear. A relationship built on generosity feels warm and natural. One built on constant calculation feels transactional. And when interactions begin to feel like transactions, attraction slowly fades. 5. Pushing physical intimacy too soon. Attraction between men and women naturally involves sexual tension. This is a normal and healthy part of romantic chemistry. However, the way someone handles that tension reveals a great deal about their character. This can trigger a sense of objectification, which quickly removes emotional safety from the interaction. Research on relationships consistently shows that couples who allow emotional connection to develop before rushing into physical intimacy often experience greater long-term satisfaction. Restraint demonstrates self-control, and self-control is deeply attractive. Men who respect the natural pace of connection often earn far more respect than those who push aggressively. 6. Being unreliable or inconsistent. Chemistry may spark initial attraction, but trust sustains it. And trust is built through consistency. Many men underestimate how closely women observe whether actions match words. They may focus on charm, humor, or confidence, but reliability often matters far more. The warning signs can be small. Promising to call but forgetting. Suggesting plans but canceling at the last minute. Talking about future plans that never happen. Individually, these moments may seem insignificant. But attraction rarely collapses because of a single dramatic mistake. It erodes slowly through repeated patterns. Every broken promise plants a small seed of doubt. Over time, that doubt weakens respect, and attraction rarely survives when respect disappears. Reliability communicates maturity and stability. It signals that a person values their word. And in relationships, consistency is often more powerful than occasional grand gestures. 7. Being too timid or too dominant in conversation. The final mistake appears into opposite forms: excessive timidity or excessive talking. Some men enter conversations already doubting themselves. They hesitate to express opinions, avoid disagreement, and constantly seek approval. Over time, this creates an imbalance where the woman feels responsible for carrying the entire interaction. Attraction often requires a sense of direction, quiet confidence rather than dominance. On the other hand, some men compensate for insecurity by talking endlessly. They dominate conversations, interrupt frequently, and fill every silence with noise. Meaningful connection requires balance. The ability to speak when something meaningful needs to be said and to listen when the moment calls for it. Confidence is not silence, and it is not endless talking. Confidence is presence. It is the calm awareness that allows both people to participate naturally in the interaction.